He always said, it's not cheating if it's just talking. But then why did he hide their conversations? Why did his voice go softer when he spoke to her? One day, I sent her a message from his number. Do you ever feel guilty? Her response came instantly, sometimes. But we can't stop. My blood ran cold. That night, I waited until he got into bed and whispered, if you could erase one thing in your life, what would it be? He smirked, nothing. I showed him the message and whispered, then why did she say you can't stop? His face went white, and that's when he knew he had nowhere left to hide. I, 41 female, have been married to Scott, 44 male, for 8 years. Together for 12. We live in Asheville, North Carolina. No kids. 2 rescue dogs. 1 house. I run a small vintage boutique downtown. He works in IT from home, mostly remote for a company out of Charlotte. We had a simple life. I thought we were good. Not perfect, but good. We laughed. We cooked. We watched dumb shows. We fought sometimes, but nothing bad. I always had this weird feeling in my gut, though. Scott used to joke, it's not cheating if it's just talking. He said it more than once. Whenever I'd tell him how emotional cheating felt worse sometimes, he'd wave it off. You're being dramatic, he'd say. Talking isn't cheating. I never forgot those words. Not even when I wanted to. It started with small things. I noticed he'd always flip his phone face down. Not all the time, but enough for me to catch on. He'd laugh at messages but never show me. If I walked into the room, he'd suddenly stop texting. Or change tabs on his laptop. The kind of behavior you feel before you fully see. At first, I didn't ask. I told myself I was being paranoid. We'd been together over a decade. I trusted him. We shared passwords. But one day, those passwords just didn't work. He changed them. I asked, and he said it was for work security reasons. Something about 2FA. I didn't push. I should have. Then I started noticing a name coming up a lot. Tara. She worked with him on a long-term project. Lived in Austin. I remember him mentioning her in passing, how funny she was, how smart. I didn't think anything of it. At first. But then one day, we were watching TV and his phone lit up on the table. The notification said, Tara, miss our chats. Today was rough without you. That stupid orange heart sat there like a warning sign. I stared at it. He noticed and grabbed his phone quickly. I didn't say anything right away. I waited until we were brushing our teeth. I asked casually, so, who's Tara? He shrugged. Coworker. We talk during breaks. She's cool. Why the heart? She sends that to everyone. It's just her thing. He didn't even blink. I asked, you talk that much? He said, it's just harmless stuff. She vents about her job. It's not cheating. Don't make it a thing. And that was it. I dropped it. I let it go. I wish I hadn't. After that night, I started watching more closely. He'd text her while sitting beside me on the couch. I'd glance over, and he'd immediately angle his screen away. When I asked to use his phone to check a recipe once, he acted like I asked to look through his underwear drawer in front of strangers. Use your own, he said, then smiled like he was joking. But he wasn't. That's when I knew. Not proof. But I knew. It got worse. I could hear the difference in his voice when he spoke to her on calls. Softer. Lighter. Not the tone he used with me. And I know what people sound like when they're flirting. I just do. He stopped being present. We'd eat together, and he'd be smiling at his phone under the table. We'd go for walks with the dogs, and he'd slow down, letting me walk ahead so he could answer something. At night, he was working late, more often, but his laptop screen had Spotify open more than emails. Still, I had no solid evidence. Just instincts. And in marriages, you learn to doubt your gut when the other person keeps insisting you're imagining it. Until one night. He was in the shower, and his phone buzzed. It was unlocked. I never touch his phone, but something took over me. I opened the messages. Tara, are you still thinking about last night? My heart started racing. I scrolled. There were pages of messages. Weeks. Months. Late night, miss you, pet names. Deep talks about their dreams and regrets. Little jokes about me, she'd never understand this LOL, and dozens of intimate selfies. Nothing nude, but personal. Bed hair. Bathrobe. Just woke up looks. The kind of pictures you don't send a married man unless there's a reason. My hands were shaking. Instead of confronting him, I did something I still don't fully understand. I messaged her. From his phone. I typed, do you ever feel guilty? Her reply came instantly. Sometimes, but we can't stop. My whole body froze. I swear I stopped breathing. He came out of the shower minutes later, humming. Clueless. He kissed me on the head and asked what I wanted for dinner. I said I wasn't hungry. That night, I didn't sleep. I laid there beside him, staring at the ceiling. When he finally started to fall asleep, I whispered, if you could erase one thing in your life, what would it be? He chuckled in the dark. Nothing. Why? I whispered back. Then why did she say you can't stop? He went silent. His whole body tensed. I felt it. He turned his head slightly. What are you talking about? I got up, turned on the light, showed him the phone. You forgot to lock it. He stared at the screen. No words, just breathing. Then came the deflection. You shouldn't have read that. That was private. I left. Not because it was funny, but because that was the best he could come up with. You lied for a year, I said. And you're mad I read it? He told me it wasn't physical. That they never met. That it was just talking. That he needed someone to vent to. That I didn't listen like she did. That I had changed. Everything but, I'm sorry. He said it wasn't cheating. Over and over. Like if he repeated it enough, it would become true. I didn't leave right away. I wish I could say I did. But I didn't. We tried therapy. I cried every night. I stopped eating. I'd leave work early and just sit in the car. My friends told me I deserved better. I knew they were right. But I felt stuck. And humiliated. He promised to cut contact. Said he blocked her. He didn't. One night I walked past the guest room and heard him whispering. The door was closed. I put my ear against it. Her name. Again. I didn't say anything. I just walked away. The next day, I went to work like normal. I acted like everything was fine. That night, he came home late. Said he went for a drive to clear his head. A week later, I got a text while I was rearranging displays at the store. From his number, I'm sorry. I can't keep pretending. I'm moving to Austin. That's it. That was the message. I rushed home. Half the closet was empty. I sat on the bed with my dogs curled up next to me and just cried. No sounds, just tears falling. I couldn't move. He left everything else. Left me with the mortgage, the bills, the dogs, the store, the silence. And she got him. At least for now. He was gone. Just like that. No real goodbye. No face-to-face talk. No bags packed in front of me. Just a damn text message and an empty side of the closet. I didn't answer him. What was there to say? I locked the bedroom door that night. Not to keep him out. He was hundreds of miles away by then. But to keep everything else out. The memories. The noise. The truth. The next morning, I showed up to my store like nothing happened. Opened up at 10 a.m. sharp. Smiled at customers. Rearranged racks. Restocked earrings. But my face felt frozen. Like I'd been carved out of someone who used to be alive. I kept checking the street through the front window. Like maybe he'd come back and say it was all a mistake. Like maybe she didn't want him after all. But he didn't come back. 2 weeks later, my best friend Maddie came over. She walked in with 2 bottles of wine and a face that already knew. I saw the photos, she said. He's in Austin. With her. Smiling like he's on a honeymoon. I nodded. My throat was too tight to speak. She pulled out her phone and showed me. I shouldn't have looked, but I did. There they were. At a food truck park. He had his arm around her waist. She was laughing. His hand was on her lower back, like muscle memory. The worst part? He looked happy. Lighter. Like I'd been the weight holding him down. That night, I smashed one of our wedding picture frames. I don't even remember doing it. I just remember standing over broken glass with bleeding fingers and not caring. The months dragged. I tried to rebuild. I changed my store hours. I worked longer. Got home later. I redecorated the bedroom. Got rid of the comforter he picked out. Donated his stupid novelty mugs. Sold his record player. Blocked his number. But the dreams kept coming. In them, he was back. Or sometimes, he never left. I'd wake up reaching for someone who was already gone. And then, the twist. Late one Sunday night, I got a DM on Instagram. From someone named Vanessa. I almost didn't open it. Thought it was spam. But the message said, "Hi, this might sound insane. But are you Scott's wife? Or, were you?" My heart stopped. I stared at the screen. "I'm sorry to message you like this. But I think we should talk. Please don't block me. I just found out something." I replied, cautious. I was. "Who are you?" Vanessa answered quickly. I was seeing him too. For about 8 months. I had no idea about Tara. Or you. I sat down on the floor. She sent screenshots. Messages. Photos. Him calling her baby, making promises. A photo of the same bracelet he once gave me, now on her wrist. Dinner photos. Coffee shop selfies. He'd been seeing her while he was with Tara. Not before. During. That man moved to Austin to be with Tara, and was cheating on her, too. I didn't know whether to laugh or scream. It was like watching a house burn down and finding out there were termites in the walls the whole time. I told Vanessa everything. She cried. Said she felt sick. Said he told her I was a crazy ex who wouldn't stop texting him. Said Tara was just a coworker who had boundary issues. We kept talking for hours. Then came the worst part. Vanessa said she thought she might be pregnant. She was late. Nausea. Symptoms. She was scared. He wasn't answering her calls. He's ghosting me, she said. I told him I was late, and he blocked me. I sat there, staring at the wall. My ex-husband might have knocked someone up and just vanished. Same way he left me. And then, another twist. Tara found out. How do I know? Because she messaged me next. Her message was simple. You were right. I should have seen it. I'm sorry for what I said about you. I thought you were bitter. I get it now. We ended up talking too. I hated her. For so long. But now? I just felt tired. We were both lied to. We were both played. Like two women in different cities holding pieces of the same broken mirror. She told me she kicked him out. Didn't even let him pack, she said. Threw his clothes in the yard. He called me a psycho. I told him to go find someone else to fool. She said he cried. I didn't believe her at first. But then she sent me a photo of his suitcase on the curb, soaking in rain. So now? He's nowhere. Blocked by me. Blocked by Tara. Probably hiding from Vanessa. I don't know where he is. Part of me doesn't care. Part of me needs to know. Not because I miss him, God no. But because I need to see how far he'll fall. I need to know if karma's real. Because if it is, it's coming for him hard. He always said, it's not cheating if it's just talking. Funny, that line didn't save him in the end. Not from me. Not from Tara. Not from Vanessa. Not from himself. About 3 weeks after Tara kicked him out, the silence was weird. Almost too quiet. No more DMs. No drama. No updates. Almost like he just disappeared. I started to think he skipped town. Then, one morning while I was opening the store, I noticed something strange. A little package sitting at the back door. No name. Just a plain cardboard box, no postage, hand-delivered. I felt my stomach drop. I opened it slowly. Inside, one of our old Polaroids from a trip to Savannah, the one where he's holding the dogs and I'm wearing that stupid straw hat he always teased me about. A necklace I lost 2 years ago, one he said he never found. And a letter. Handwritten. No greeting. Just 5 words at the top, you were right about everything. I stood in that back room for 20 minutes, just holding the paper, frozen. The letter wasn't long. He admitted he lied. Said he never meant to hurt me, but that's exactly what he did. Said Tara meant something until she didn't. Said Vanessa was a mistake, but he panicked when she said she was late. Said he didn't love either of them. That he never stopped loving me. And then, I've been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I'm not saying that's why I hurt you. But I've started seeing a doctor. And I think about you every day. You were always home. I see that now. I dropped the letter. Because here's the thing, he never told me any of that while we were married. He never said he was struggling. He'd always acted calm, easygoing, in control. If anything, I was the emotional one in the relationship. So now I had to sit there and wonder, was all of it a lie? Or had I lived beside someone for a decade and missed every sign? That night, I showed the letter to Maddie. She didn't say anything for a minute, then just asked, "What do you feel right now?" I didn't have an answer. A few days later, Vanessa texted again. She wasn't pregnant. But she did get tested after everything. And tested positive for chlamydia. She'd only been with him. I thought you should know, she said. I stared at that text like it was a joke. But it wasn't. I hadn't been with anyone since him. So I went to my doctor. And yeah, positive. I got an STD from a man who said, it's just talking. He risked my health. Lied to my face. And still had the nerve to send me a damn love letter. I wasn't even angry anymore. I felt hollow. Like I'd been erased from my own life. Then came the worst twist of all. A week later, my boutique got broken into. Front glass shattered. Cash drawer emptied. A few shelves knocked over. Security footage showed a man in a hoodie. Face covered. 2:13 a.m. I thought it was random. Cops said maybe it was just some junkie. Until I got a voicemail the next day. Blocked number. All it said, in his voice, "You're not better than me." Click. That's when I knew. It was him. He'd broken in. He didn't steal anything valuable. He didn't even take jewelry. Just the petty cash and maybe a little of my peace. I gave the voicemail to the cops. Filed a report. They said they'd investigate. But we both knew how that would go. No fingerprints. No arrest. Just me. Again. Cleaning up after him. So now? I've changed the locks. Installed cameras. I carry pepper spray. I'm not scared of him. But I'm not stupid either. Because you know what the hardest twist in this whole story was? It wasn't the cheating. Not even the lies. It was realizing that this man, the one I built my life around, might have never really existed at all. Everything I knew about him, every safe moment, every private joke, every whisper in the dark, it's all poison now. And somewhere out there, he's probably still lying to someone else. saying all the same things, sending emojis, blaming everyone but himself. But me? I'm not a victim anymore. I'm something else now. Not healed yet, but waking up. It's been months since everything burned down, metaphorically and almost literally. The boutique break-in, the voicemail, the STD diagnosis, the letter, it all felt like the end. But turns out, the worst part hadn't even happened yet. Let me tell you what finally broke the dam. I hadn't seen Scott face-to-face since he left. Until last Saturday. It was the local arts festival downtown. My boutique is right on the main strip, so I had a little booth outside with handmade rings, scarves, and vintage pins. It was sunny, packed, kids with face paint, couples holding hands. The works. I was laughing with a customer when I felt it, that shift in the air. Like someone sucked the oxygen out of the street. I turned my head and there he was. Scott. Standing 5 feet away. No warning. No lead up. T-shirt. Backpack. Sunglasses. Same smirk as always, but older. Thinner. Like something had been draining him. And he was with another woman. Not Tara. Not Vanessa. Someone new. Young. Blonde. Arm hooked into his. Looking at me like I was a stranger. He didn't expect to see me. That was clear. His whole body stiffened. But instead of walking away, he walked toward me. Hey, he said, casual, like nothing ever happened. Like he didn't nuke my life from orbit. I looked him dead in the eye. Don't. The new girl looked confused. Is this someone you know? I turned to her. I'm his wife. Or I was, before he cheated with 2 women, gave me chlamydia, broke into my shop, and left me for dead. The girl looked like she'd been hit in the chest. Scott snapped, what the hell are you doing? I'm telling the truth, I said, loud enough for the booth next to me to hear. People turned. I didn't care. You sent me a letter, I said. You said you were sorry. Then you showed up and robbed me. I didn't rob you, he barked. You left a voicemail. Don't pretend, I said. You're not sorry. You're scared. There's a difference. He started pacing, jaw clenched. The new girl had backed away. You always twist things, he snapped. You love being the victim. I laughed. Loud. Ugly. Bitter. You're the one who played 3 women. You cheated, lied, stole, and now you're mad that I'm loud about it. A small crowd was forming. A few shop owners I knew stepped outside. One of them, Greg, from the leather stand 2 booths down, crossed his arms and glared at Scott. Scott was shaking now. Not with sadness. With anger. With exposure. You ruined me, he hissed. No, I said. You ruined you. I just survived it. The blonde girl? She walked away. Quiet. Head down. Scott stood there alone. For a full minute. Then he spat at the ground and stormed off. I cried later. Not in front of everyone. Not even when Maddie came by and said, Holy sh*T, I saw what happened. Are you okay? No. I waited until closing. Locked the booth. Got in my car. Sat there with the AC blasting and sobbed like I was breaking into pieces again. But this time, it didn't feel like weakness. It felt like letting something go. The fear, the shame, the version of me that clung to the hope that maybe he'd change. Maybe he'd come back better. Maybe I meant something to him. No, I didn't. And that was finally okay. You know what's funny? It wasn't the cheating that broke me. It was all the tiny betrayals that led up to it. The silence. The gaslighting. The lies that didn't even seem necessary. The way he made me feel crazy. Small. Needy. Wrong. I've learned that people don't fall out of love overnight. It's a slow bleeding out. And sometimes, the person you love is the one holding the knife. I used to think closure meant getting answers. Now I know it means accepting you won't. A few days ago, Tara messaged me again. She saw the festival scene go viral. Someone recorded it. It hit a local TikTok page. Hundreds of comments. Mostly support. A few trolls. She wrote, he'll never stop doing this. I'm so sorry again. I hope you're okay. Vanessa wrote too. She said she saw the video and cried. Said she was proud of me for not staying silent. Even my mom, who never liked Scott, sent me flowers and a card that said, told you he was a weasel. I laughed at that one. It felt good to laugh again. I still run my boutique. Still walk my dogs every evening. Still drink too much wine some nights. But I'm sleeping better. I'm looking people in the eye again. I'm not rushing to date. I'm not looking for closure. I already found it. It was in the silence that followed the screen. It was in the empty side of the bed that I didn't fill with someone else. It was in me. If you're reading this and you're stuck in something that feels like slow death, ask yourself, do they make you feel safe? Heard? Seen? Would they be ashamed if their messages got read out loud in public? Because if the answer is no, then you already know. I'm not hopeful. I'm not bitter. I'm just awake. And that's enough.